Thoughts before I say something.
Yo, is this another one of Kanye West's crazy rants? You know, it's not the first time he's done it. This is a guy that basically got rich off the black culture himself, right? And he talked about people buying foreigns. He's rapping about buying foreigns. What he said in his song, you pop the trunk, I pop the hood, Ferrari, right? And that made everybody go out and buy Ferraris that could afford one, right? This is a guy that was walking around with a MAGA hat or acting like Trump was a god, right? This is a guy that was promoting expensive brands, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, for black people to buy, right? Pushing very expensive sneakers. I think at one time he even claimed he was Jesus. And then he also downplayed slavery. This is the same Kanye West, right? Kanye West ain't in no position to be talking about this right now. Like I said, if he's changing, I'm all for a person making changes. But the thing is, you can't rape the culture yourself, and then now let's talk about people are brainwashed. The thing is, like I said, I saw Kanye West up in that Oval Office, literally up Trump's ass. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if these are another one of his rants or whatever, but he doesn't have a place to make statements like that, in my opinion. And some of that shit doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, like like you said it best. Like he raped the culture.
He did.
He talked about foreign cars, Louis store, Gucci, fucking other guys, women.
Correct.
When Big Boy asked him the question of the culture, he's saying like we play victim. The culture doesn't play victim. He's talking about the culture. With victimizing, people are always playing victim. Right now, white men are playing victim. When they're talking about cancel culture, when they're talking about people are woke. So people, so when he says that, like, Kanye, you's a bitch. Your sneakers are mad expensive, and you wanted people to buy these expensive sneakers. You just started making affordable bullshit as what them shits look like Croc sneakers now, right? Yeah. Like, come on, like those foreign Walking Dead clothes, expensive. Expensive. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the bottles of liquor and all that stuff. Like, you the same guys that jewels and teeth and all that stuff. Like talking about walking up into Jacobs on a chain.
Correct.
Like, you can't get on people for the shit you made them go get to try to be like you.
And that's the thing. You got to watch what you say, man. Because on one level, you just said he was doing all of this stuff before, but now he's not down with the culture. All right, that he started. It's almost like you just threw poison out there for everybody. Now you step away and you just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Look at y'all. You're come on, man. But I'm gonna tell you, he did say one thing that I liked though, which made because again, a broken clock, right? He said that instead of spending all of our money on all these other things, we should be buying land. All right. And I appreciate that. I appreciate him for saying that. You know what I mean? And I applaud him for that much consciousness.
But Derek, look how late he's saying it.
Look about 5-6 albums ago. You could have said that 5-6 albums ago.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I wish he would have said it sooner. You know what I mean? But
with a chainsaw that cut up a Bentley in the video.
Yeah.
I'd rather take a chain and go to Jacobs and go ignorant. This is a person. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, everybody comes to this epiphany. The second thing is this: people need to be very conscious about this victim thing. When you have been oppressed and have been the victim, you don't have to play victim.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? That I'll just say this: for what the country has done to black people, you could take whether you think black people are exploiting welfare or whatever the case is, it pales in comparison to what was taken from us as a people. And so what I'm saying is you get to a certain status, when I was sitting at the Met Gala and stuff like that, you still sitting there looking like an ornament when you're sitting there. Now you're at a table where white people question saying they didn't think you would like Trump. The reality of it is they have you at that table for a reason, and you had to jump through hoops to be at the table, and you're playing a position at a table. You see what I'm saying? And all this stuff, I never seen him. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, he was being used, and he won't acknowledge that.
And he
was brainwashed at that moment when he was walking around with that MAGA hat. You know what I'm saying? So now here's the thing: is you were up Trump's ass because it was in your best interest. I don't know, man. I don't know if Trump had something on you or whatever, or you just like the tax cuts because you're a multimillionaire now, and that works for you. You know what I'm saying? So you're leaving everybody behind. But like I said, if he's changing and he's just woke up, okay, that's fine. Continue to do that. But I don't trust Kanye at all.
He was in a different room back then, man. He was around rich, let's just say what it is, rich white folk, you know what I mean? And they were telling him, and he was feeling like he was a part of something. That's what I feel. And then I think it kind of reflected in his music. You know what I mean? And not just his music, but just the way he did business and the way he presented himself and everything. I always felt like Kanye had some consciousness in him. He had some social responsibility in him. He certainly was brought up that way through his mother, God rest her. But, and he just kind of took this detour, and maybe he's coming back. But I think he did a lot of damage.
Nah, you can't come back when to me, like when he say he blamed the Democrats, left wing, right wing, all part of the same bird. You got he's not remembering the part that the Republicans are trying to stop black people from voting.
Correct.
He's not talking about that. He's not getting like all the policies, anti-lynching bill, striking down. Yeah, all of these kind of policies that his people have just keep saying no. But he's not even mentioning that. No. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's still a brain fuck motherfucker. Why are you doing it?
Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and you just knew they were detached? It's something there. In other words, no matter what you discuss, they go into another, realm.
And they get away from run from the topic.
Yes,
they are unhinged. I don't like being unbridled. I see that with Kanye West.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
I see that with Kyrie Irving. In other words, I don't mind your position. What I'm saying is how you arrive at it is always weird, and I don't always want to take the journey with you. And I think that's one of the issues. Kanye West, to me, always seems like a young man that is at war with himself. There is something very unsettled with him. And I'll tell you what I think it is. I think whatever you have to do to get into this game, whatever you have to do to get into this position, there's some things that I think go against who you actually are, that you make concessions and you do it. And I think ultimately you have a conflict within yourself that rages and it won't let you be settled. I've never seen so many unhappy, miserable, famous millionaires. And I see it a lot from this culture. I see it a lot from that field. And entertainment is nothing to play with. And Hollywood is known for it. And I think you got
so yeah,
like that mix, and then to get with the Kardashians and things like that. I don't see rationale there. I don't see logic there, and I don't see common sense there.
No. Yeah, Serene said he's always on a rant.
Yeah, that's what I said. Was this one of his rants again to basically grab some attention? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, it was definitely that. I
maybe
agree with you that.
Me personally, it could be a marketing thing. Maybe he's getting ready to come out with something, maybe his new clothing brand or whatever, and he's just getting a whole bunch of views for his loyal supporters to buy it. Like I tell you,
have to do that. There's still something wrong with that at this stage.
Correct. You're selling out the culture. That's selling out the culture right there.
Yeah, Malcolm X always says, "Beware of our entertainers."
Yeah.
Malcolm told us a long time ago. So, speaking of entertainers, our brother Michael B. Jordan changed the name of his rum brand after Nicki Minaj comments. He had a rum brand called Juve. For the people don't know, and he was coming out with a rum brand, and Nicki Minaj made some comments, and she was very nicely, Jamie, I would say she did it very nicely and tasteful to make him change the name of that. And before I comment, thoughts.
Boy, I wish I'm obviously not of Caribbean descent. I don't know where it's going in terms of like, all right, cultural appropriation. That's usually something that we're reserved for people of a different hue, it seems. You know what I mean? It's usually, white folk culturally appropriating black, whatever, style of dress, the way we wear our hair, the way we speak. It seems interesting that we're getting that from the American and Caribbean side now. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know what to really make of it, other than if I would say, as a black man who has lived this life forever, if there are a significant amount of people who are of Caribbean descent and they do feel that his coach is not cool, then maybe he should change it. Maybe he should be sensitive to it and fall back. So it's I don't know. Just it's a tough thing. He spent all that time. I would like to hear how he came to that name. What was the inspiration?
Well, I'll say first of all, we got to thank Michael B. Jordan, because one thing our community has been struggling with is a lack of of alcohol. That's the first thing. We have it
Yeah.
yeah. So first we're gonna take Michael Jordan for that. You know what I'm saying? We put it wrong choices. Secondly, I think what it is if you're going to come up with a name for something and someone actually could have you change it that fast analytically, I don't think you did your homework. Yeah. That's a lot to start a brand. You know, I always subscribe to that old mantra, you measure twice and cut once. You know, if you came to that name, you're supposed to have a think tank that actually will bounce this stuff around beforehand. So I think it was just kind of a misstep. I will say to her credit, I do think she handled it tactfully. I will say that.
Look what Reese said, y'all. And then I'm gonna make my statement after this. And she's
so
right about
our own. Yeah, we was outraged when George Clooney made Casamigos tequila. Yeah, well, you know, and we are critical of our own, aren't we? You know, I think we have a different. I think obviously we have a different standard for ourselves than others have for them and how they relate to us. And you know, and yeah, sometimes it's inconvenient. You know, but maybe it's just simply the right thing. And sometimes the right thing is just inconvenient, you know.
Did Nicki Minaj ever think he was going to shine light to the Caribbean culture besides, like, most of us that live in New York, we know what J'ouvert is. Most of the people that's come from the Caribbean, but it could have made it more globally known, for one thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would have been nice. I mean, that I don't think she ever did. You know, I just think she got, you know, I just think she was just, you know, angry or whatever you want to call it. She just decided to get, you know, upset about it or whatever.
See, the problem with this is, Derek, I'm sorry to cut you. This is the problem to me. What happens is this. Now, when it comes to, you know, constructive criticism, so the people that thought Nicki Minaj's music was too racy for kids and stuff like that, if they wanted her to pull back on that, what would have been the answer? That's what I'm saying when it comes to entertainment. That's when it comes to money and people's profit and things like that. People kind of pick and choose where they want to have their stand at. You see what I'm saying? And so everybody wants to kind of have the issue that affects you. So she, as a Caribbean person, felt that's offensive. You know what I mean? There's some people that feel, you know, some of her lyrics may be offensive. So then what do you do?
Listen, I'm telling you, Serene's nothing wrong. There are many businesses that have used our culture, give them the same energy. J'ouvert is a wonderful name, required education on his part, but no need to change the name. Yeah, I mean, listen, I remember at one point I think we had a conversation about reparations, and then you had people from the Caribbean culture who jumped in and said they don't feel like Black Americans should be asking for reparations. Right. And my answer to that was, you know, fall back. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? It's like, go get your check somewhere else. You know, how can you tell somebody else how to live and what's important to them? Mm-hmm. And I gotta get that same energy, and I'm just giving it the same energy. You know what I mean?
And think of Pan-Africanism. We expose, like, he's another brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about Pan-Africanism, right? He's just a brother. If we look at Black, there's nobody gonna say you're West Indian, you're Black when the white name was coming out. They're gonna see it as Black. So he should salute the brother. This is the same chick that got a pedophile ass brother and the sex offender husband, making criticism of a damn rum. And her music alone, she's doing all kind of stuff with drinks and all kind of stuff. Like, come on, sis, really? This is what you complain about? I would just like all the other shit going on with women and all the other things you could have did. You want to come out to the brother by having a rum that's going to show off the culture, the name of J'ouvert.
And that's my point.
I would just like to hear what the consensus is, if we were able to get a consensus of people of Caribbean descent. I would just have to show them that respect. How do y'all feel about it?
If you look at Black America, Black Twitter and all that stuff, they tore her ass a new ass out.
Okay, well then that's what's up. You know, then that's what's up. You know, yeah, you know, that's it. You know,
what Tiger said. Tiger said.
Like, you know, you can't dictate that to someone. You know what I mean?
If it wasn't for Swiss Beats calling out Gucci, Dapper Dan wouldn't be back in the game. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And what Serene just said something too. Okay.
Oh no, you just stepped on my toes. And T-Whip Barbarian and a few other countries have petitioned for reparations. Just saying. Okay, that's what's up.
That's right. Now that's what those islands need reparations too. They need to go to England and all these places.
But again, I can't tell another culture how they should respond, you know, to the situation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you have to keep the same energy. You know what I mean? I tell somebody how they respond to the situation. You know, they move different about it. I don't see the problem. Okay, that's what's up, energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's my man Tiger. He damn sure won. That motherfucker used to bring back goat in the car with us every time from college, man.
Yes,
and
sir.
my car smelling like damn golden crust and shit for fucking 12 hours and shit. That's my dude.
Yo, it was a live goat.
That motherfucker have a whole fucking half goat in that back of my car, man. Fucking shit, man.